Welcome back to the third Saturday in October, your SEC water cooler podcast for the rest of us. Find us online at thirdsaturdayinoctober.com, on social media at TSIO Pod, on Venmo if you want to support the show at TSIO Pod. I am Bradley. I'm here with co-caster Jared. And Jared, we've got a little more football and a lot of basketball to talk about.
Amen. I do want to bring this up as we get into the football playoff. I noticed something recently, and I'm sure you noticed too, that there are teams that have played well that were not in the playoff, and I'm just going to give a little bit of love to BYU. I think BYU did get snubbed. BYU handled Colorado. Just really cool to see them, but they weren't in the playoff. But they are a good team and probably should have been. So.
Yeah. They put on a dominant performance, much like two of the teams that I've seen, especially in this latest round. As it stands today, we've got Ohio State and Texas, and we've got Notre Dame and Penn State. So, SEC fans, our hope lies in Texas.
Yeah, how in the world Georgia lost to Notre Dame just tells us how much NIL has impacted college football, because any other year, I don't think that would have happened, but it happened. Here we are.
Yeah, it was that was a dominant performance. And
Georgia got handled, and you don't see that often. So
no, you don't see that often. And I'm looking at it saying, okay, we'll skip straight to it. I see Notre Dame beating Penn State. I see Ohio State beating Texas.
Probably.
And as an SEC fan, even though I hate that Texas is the last team standing from our conference, I got to pull for little UT. And I don't know if they can pull it out against a fired up Ohio State team. Again, this is different than the team that I've seen all year. And so if Texas isn't in it, Ohio State, Notre Dame, I think nationwide, that's a pretty appealing matchup. I wouldn't watch it.
Well, what we know, Texas did beat Michigan, who did beat Ohio State. Texas has beaten Clemson and Arizona State, both conference champions. So let's not just completely sleep on Texas. I mean, Texas is capable. Ohio State
and they've got a good defense.
They have a great defense, and Ohio State has really been on fire recently. Could that have gone to their heads a little bit with the domination of Oregon and the Rose Bowl and all the, pageantry that comes with that, and then show up against Texas thinking, oh, we got these boys, and then Texas, surprises them. We've seen things like that happen, so it could happen. Now, Ohio State has the momentum, so it's really theirs to balk and mess up. Of course, you and I hope that happens, but, if they play like they've played against Tennessee and against Oregon, it looks like Texas is probably going to come to the end of the road here.
Yeah, I would love to see Texas beat Ohio State. But man, that's two fan bases that to me are just annoying.
Yeah, and one of them is now ours, meaning the SEC. Yeah. So I don't want to embrace them, but in this moment, I will, just because they're SEC, and that's the only reason. So.
Yeah, and where I live outside of Nashville, Tennessee, I know one Notre Dame fan. I think I know one Penn State fan, but he now lives in Chicago. So from that side of the bracket, I guess I'm not as annoyed by the fan bases because I don't hear it as often. I've got Ohio State. My cousin married into Ohio State fandom, so I got to hear that. I know a bunch of people from Texas who are Texas fans. Well, it's an annoying side of the bracket.
Penn State beat SMU, who was G5 the previous season. They beat Boise State, who's G5. So you could make an argument, they played a bunch of G5 teams. Now they got Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame, I didn't really give I didn't really give proper credit to when they beat Indiana. I just thought, okay, that's Indiana, and Indiana
Yeah,
might have
me
been a little
either.
bit overrated. But to go out and handle Georgia, now I can't say that. So now I know Notre Dame. Okay, Notre Dame is a good team, and I don't like to give them that credit, but I have to. So do I think Penn State, who only beat SMU and only beat Boise State, is going to handle Notre Dame? Not from what I've seen so far. Now, if they do, that says a lot for Penn State, but does that say enough for them to win a national championship? I really don't see them winning a national championship. Stranger things have happened this season. If Penn
Yes.
State were to win a national championship, that would be the team I would have guessed probably last is when not last, but close to last.
Yeah.
But I do think it's Ohio State's to lose moving forward. But again, everybody says that, and not everybody's right. So it's going to be fun, regardless, to see what happens. Now, once Texas, if they get beat and they're out, you and I have immediately lost interest in the
Right.
college football playoff, and we can easily move on with good conscience. But I am kind of curious to see what happens, though I really don't like seeing the Big Ten win another championship after last season. So we'll see.
Yeah. You know, something that happened a couple times in Notre Dame, Georgia, that I think I think some rules committees need to look at is the late offensive substitution.
Yeah.
And this was a chess match that was going on between Marcus Freeman and Kirby Smart.
Well, and
They were,
we saw a little bit of that with Illinois and South Carolina. So much so that Shane Beamer was ready to,
oh yeah,
start a fight,
yeah.
or
There was a lot of that there.
finish a mocking that Brett Bielema was giving him. So yeah, there's that going on, not just in the playoff, but in the bowl games
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I'm wondering if you have to set rules where there are no offensive substitutions inside of X number of seconds or something. And because, I mean, I don't know, in the heat of the moment, I think it's hard to remember, oh, defense, I can take my time, like not walking, but showing some effort to sub out. It just it right now it's an unfair advantage in favor of the offense, and I mean I know it's something Tennessee doesn't do often because we just don't sub on offense, but it does seem to be becoming a bigger issue. I don't know. I don't know what to do about it, but it seems a little ticky tack how it's done now. Thoughts?
Agreed. Yep. Nope. You're 100% right. Well said.
So uh, uh, staying kind of on playoff talk, but moving to some of those other bowl games. Let's talk about these last four bowl games. Or I guess last five, because when we were recording last time, Music City Bowl was going on. Missouri wins against Ohio. I mean Iowa.
Iowa.
Four letters, half of them they're the same. Missouri beats Iowa. ReliaQuest Bowl. Michigan just thumped Alabama. So Alabama, I don't want to hear about you should have been in the playoffs.
Not at all.
South Carolina, Illinois, drama, drama, drama. My quick thoughts on this: Bielema can show better sportsmanship. Beamer, control your temper a little bit. I understand getting mad at Bielema taunting, but I think that was a little overboard.
Yeah, I agree with you. But South Carolina had a potential 10-win season on the
Yeah,
on the line, and how many times do you see South Carolina get to 10 wins? It's almost never.
yeah,
So I understand the passion. I get it.
yeah. I get it too. down one notch. But Shane Beamer don't change.
Yeah, he's a good coach. I'm glad South Carolina's got him.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
LSU and my Baylor Bears.
Yeah,
Um,
they put the smack down on Baylor. No surprise
yeah,
there. I anticipated that would happen. But then, you already mentioned we saw some SEC teams just, not handle business, and that's
yeah,
that's not very SEC like.
yeah.
So
And finally, Ole Miss did handle business against Duke, winning
yes,
the
they
Gator
did.
Bowl there.
Yes, they did.
So
So good
it
for Lane Kiffin. I mean, you can say what you want, but the Ole Miss Rebels are enjoying, a couple of seasons here back to back to back of pretty good records, and maybe not getting the playoffs, but they're still doing better probably than they've done ever or in years.
yeah,
So you got to be happy for Ole Miss on that aspect. I am. I'm happy for him.
yeah,
Lane's kind of fun to watch. There's sometimes he's annoying, but for the most part, hey man,
uh,
if I'm an Ole Miss fan, I'm eating this up. So
absolutely. I love watching Lane Kiffin. He's he's fun, and
he
and it,
is.
and it
Yeah.
makes me miss Mike Leach even more
Yep.
because because it was two different styles, but kind of the same outcome between those two coaches as far as relationships with the media.
Yep.
And neither one of them taking themselves too seriously. But the SEC 6-4 in non-playoff bowl games, and let's see, another. Texas had 2 wins, so 2-2 so far in the playoffs.
Yep.
So 8-6 in the postseason as it stands. Just not the year I wanted for the SEC when
Nope.
it came to bowls, but it's it's what happened.
It is.
And we can look forward to a fantastic basketball season,
We can and we should.
but because currently in the top 25 there are 10 SEC teams. Now it's not going to end up this way, I don't think,
No,
but
that is impressive. Yep.
we've got four of the top six: Tennessee at one, Auburn at two, which Auburn's getting quite a few number one votes in the AP poll. Alabama at five, Florida at six. Florida was just beat by Kentucky, who is at number 10. 12 is Oklahoma, 13 Texas A&M, 17 Mississippi State, 23 Arkansas, 24 Ole Miss. Arkansas was giving Tennessee a run for its money for about 3/4 of the game in Calipari's first SEC game at Arkansas.
Yep.
But Tennessee really pulled away second half and really never looked back. Auburn also just handled business. Watched the post game interview with Bruce Pearl, who is now tied for most wins as an Auburn coach, I believe, if I remember correctly. And it seems like he's got quite a lot of gas left in his tank.
Man, I sure hope so.
And and I've said this once, I'll say it again. I hated when Tennessee parted ways with Bruce Pearl because I knew he was a fantastic coach. There were some growing pains between then and now, but I also love having Rick Barnes as our head coach too. So
Yeah, he seems to be doing okay last I checked. So
yeah, but man, later this month, the Vols travel down to Auburn, and this is going to be a heck of a game in a few weeks.
yeah, that's on the 25th. So we got 3 weeks, a little less than 3 weeks away, and tune in on that one. Don't miss that one. That's one that you need to watch. So
Yeah,
that's potentially one versus two.
Yeah.
So
Before before we get down to Auburn, Tennessee has to take care of Florida at Florida, who is going to be not happy after this last Saturday.
well, they were vulnerable against Kentucky, and Kentucky caught them, and that's what happens in the SEC regular season.
Yeah.
So it won't be the last time. It's gonna happen maybe to one of our teams. So um, look out.
So here's a question for you: outside of Tennessee and Auburn, who do you think has the best shot at winning the regular season?
Well, I mean, what do you mean by regular season? Because you know,
In in the SEC, like
like
who do
winning the
you?
SEC.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Then that's potentially maybe an Alabama, Kentucky, or Florida. If I just had to spitball here,
yeah,
those are the three that come to mind. Oklahoma, maybe being on the bubble there. Those, but I mean, shoot, it's anybody. Anybody can turn it around.
it's
There's a lot of good teams, as you pointed out. There's 10 in the top 25 right now. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'd be very surprised if Tennessee who may get a loss at some point, but I'd be very surprised to see Tennessee drop this. I think Tennessee's in the driver's seat, and Auburn's right behind them. So it'd be surprised to me if it was not one of those two.
Yeah, if it's not one of those two, I have a feeling Kentucky's just going to keep climbing this year. I
I'm just
think they
not. I'm not convinced Kentucky's as good as they are playing out to be, but they did beat Florida, so maybe they are. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, I mean it's hard to tell. Currently 10-2,
Certainly not a bad team. Yeah,
but I wrote them off when Calipari left.
yeah,
And
I get it.
and now I'm starting to I don't know because they hired a former Kentucky player and he understands more than just about anybody. I think he understands the grind, the atmosphere, and hopefully how to motivate his players. But we'll see. I hope I don't have to worry about Kentucky or anybody else other than Auburn. Like let that be the storyline this year. Tennessee Auburn. Let's play in a couple weeks. Let's meet up in the tournament. I hope the seeding works out that if they meet again in the tournament, it's in the championship game, and then let's see where the tournament takes us. But there's a lot of basketball to play between now and then.
Yep, and I'm here for it. Let's do it.
Yeah. So I'm trying to see what the games look like tonight, Tuesday night, as a lot of games are played on Tuesdays. We got Tennessee at Florida, Kentucky at Georgia, Auburn at Texas, Mississippi State at Vanderbilt, and LSU at Missouri. So pretty good slate of games. And then tomorrow night, Wednesday, Alabama at South Carolina, Ole Miss at Arkansas, and Texas A&M at Oklahoma. So Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, I hope you're ready for SEC basketball because it's here and it's not going anywhere.
Amen.
I'm very, very excited about this. I do like seeing the SEC so strong in basketball coming off this bowl season that I'm just meh about. So I don't know. Going back to football just for a second because we've played games. There's a couple left. We're getting into basketball season game wise. Thinking about recruiting. I know you and I have been texting. Tennessee got a little bit of a scare when their highly touted freshman wide receiver, Mike Matthews, jumped in the portal, but shortly thereafter, it was reported that he decided to stay at Tennessee, which I'm very thankful. There's five other
Yeah, I think
receivers in that
Tennessee.
portal.
Yeah, I think Tennessee had to talk him down and
Yeah,
probably shell out a little bit of cash, but he's worth it, and that's a good save. So way to wait. I mean that doesn't get enough love. I think is okay. We talk about the portal wins, but
yeah,
how many wins are just retaining your own roster? I mean, how hard is
yeah,
that? And so being able to keep a future star for Tennessee like that, I think that says a lot about this coaching staff, and really happy for Tennessee they can do that because they need those key guys, as they continue to pursue that SEC championship and another run in the playoffs. And so, yeah, not to lose key players is as important as getting a couple pieces to fill in the portal and obviously in recruiting. So Tennessee's handling business and all those things. I'm really happy for Tennessee. So
yeah, yeah. That's something that I think Tennessee hasn't lost a lot of key guys to the portal since Heupel's been there because they've been so good at that I guess in-house recruiting before the portal opens up. And it seems like, I mean, I've got no insider knowledge, but I'm guessing they're having good conversations with their players saying, this is what we see, this is what we're forecasting. This is how long you're going to have to wait. This is where we're going to work you in, whatever it is. But it seems like they are being very open and honest, and you're seeing guys who are talented but second, maybe third string transferring. And while it, there is a little bit of a pucker factor because you're always one play away. If you're second or even third string, you're only one or two plays away from being forced into a starting role, and that's hard to sell in today's college landscape with the transfer portal. And kudos to the coaches who are able to retain those players.
oh yeah, totally, it's a big deal. So
Yeah.
yeah, really really happy for those guys.
I mean, I think, uh, you know, Texas is really the only team in the SEC left who still has an open transfer portal because you have 5 days after your last game. But I also saw something from, I believe it was Arizona State's head coach, who said his players, they decide they're going to enter the transfer portal. He's still welcoming them to play. And I guess this was before their game against Texas. He's still inviting them to play through the playoffs because he's like, hey, you helped us get this far. We'd love to have you help us finish this out. And I thought that was very interesting. And that's a coach who, if I'm in the transfer portal and he's calling me, that sounds like he's got my best interest in mind of, hey, I'm not going to shut you out just because you've decided this is not going to be the place for you the next 1, 2, 3 years. You still had an impact, and we still want you to be part of the team. I like that coming from a head coach.
I agree.
I also know that I may want to sit out because I don't want to get hurt before I go transfer someplace. But that open invitation is something to be noted.
Yeah, and I think it speaks highly of the coaching staff, you know,
Yeah,
not being petty.
yeah. So we
Like
got
Dabo. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
had to throw a dig at Dabo. So
yeah. DBD, don't be Dabo.
don't be Dabo in when it comes to the portal. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. We should make a T-shirt. DBD, don't be Dabo. Um,
DVD. Yeah, that's
we
great.
got three more games to determine
Yep.
the college football national champion.
And you do
Um,
have an FCS national championship, which no one cares about, but it is happening tonight. Just so you know, it's
and
North Dakota State and Montana State. So,
yeah,
hey,
um,
good
and,
for them.
and that's some fun football to watch too.
It is. People are down on the FCS. I've watched some FCS football. It's not that bad. You can when you're in a pinch, when you're in a bind, go for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, football is football.
yeah, enjoy it. Yeah,
I mean, I found myself more Fridays than not.
yeah. These are the guys that got overlooked. These are the guys that aren't making the big NIL. So yeah, give them some love.
Yeah, and yeah, it's fun to watch. If
It is. I agree. It's not bad.
who's going to turn down football?
And the FCS championship's moving to Nashville after this season. So hey,
Yeah, yeah.
could they possibly persuade a Bradley Minigan to go watch a game? Probably not. But hey, it's
The
nice.
Price is Right.
Yeah. Hey, free, maybe
The Price is Right. Come on down.
free for the TSIO pod crew. Yeah.
Yeah. Third Saturday in October.
Yeah. We want to support all football. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is just trying to set them up for continuing to make the Music City Bowl a bigger and bigger bowl, as well as the Titans are getting a new stadium. Is the team deserving of it? No. They got the number one draft pick though. Hey, we're number one at something.
But it is a smart move by the city of Nashville, I think,
It
to just continue to say, hey, we're a destination city.
Yeah.
Bring your sports events here. Your fans are going to have a good time and a good experience. And I think in the large part that's true, especially when you see tragic things going on in other cities like New Orleans and
Yeah.
Vegas and other. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, dude, I don't want to go to a crazy place where that's going on. I want to go to Nashville, and
Yeah.
um,
I mean,
yeah, I don't see those type of issues happening in Nashville. Hopefully, they don't.
they
So,
they've got it figured out. I mean, they have tens of thousands every New Year's, every 4th of July, and they're vying for hosting a Super Bowl. Uh,
I
the
think it totally makes sense to have a Super Bowl in Nashville. I really do.
the NFL draft, which was April 2019. I went down there. I guess the draft starts on Thursday. I went down there on a Wednesday, so everything was set up, and I just I rode my bike from the office a few blocks down to Lower Broad where everything was happening, and it was awesome because Broadway ends right into the Cumberland River where there's a big stage. That was the stage for the draft. You've got Fox and College Game Day. Everybody's set up kind of a block away with great views of the stage in the background, and all the traffic signals had little plates over the lights. So red was in, yellow was F, and green was L. And so they just lit up the traffic lights, and it was NFL. It was really cool to see all those little details, and then watching it on TV. I know it was pretty spectacular. I know just about everybody said that was the coolest draft. And what I love is there is a little bit of a rivalry between Nashville and Las Vegas because of the hockey teams. And Vegas was hosting the draft the next year. That's when COVID hit and it was all remote. And I just love that Las Vegas had a wah draft because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not shedding any tears about that,
No,
but yeah,
yeah.
Nashville's ready for it.
Yeah, I've not seen any tears lost on Bradley Minigan's eyes. So
Well, Jared, as we're beginning to wind up college football season, any kind of not last thoughts, but any reflections on this season?
As much as it pains me, go Longhorns. And I
Oh,
do say
so
that with
true.
anguish and hurt.
Yeah. Oh man, no kidding. It is it has been quite chaotic. Let's see. I guess I don't know if we're talking about um, mascots. We got a nut, a small Irishman that is
That is so funny.
yeah, that doesn't know where he comes from. Uh, Nittany lion, which I guess is a mountain lion, and a cow.
Yeah.
Penn State's going to win the.
I think Nittany Lion. That's probably one of the better of those four. But
Yeah. I mean, I
yeah,
have seen what Bevo's done to Uga, but
yes,
Uga ain't no lion, so
no, no,
I don't know.
he is not, and he won't be. So
We're just kind of stumbling into the final couple games here, but
yeah, I love it though. It's good.
it's been fun. And
It is fun.
uh, yeah,
Dude, if you're not having fun, come on. I mean, this is good stuff. So
this is so much better than the boring, the number one teams undefeated
absolutely,
uh
yeah,
all
it is.
all
It is.
year. No, we've had number ones go down all year. Oregon then kind of crept up and survived. Um, I've loved it.
Me too. Yeah, it's been great.
And
I've enjoyed
hey,
it.
if you want to join in on the conversation, come find us
Please do.
online at thirdsaturdayinoctober.com,
All
on
right.
social media at TSIO Pod. What was that, Jared?
I said, come hang with us.
Yeah,
We are wanting that. We're inviting you. So
yeah. Find us on Venmo at TSIO Pod if you want to support the show. Support us next year going to the FCS in downtown Nashville. Um,
yeah, and possibly a road trip to Tuscaloosa.
yeah.
Yeah,
Anywhere in the
these
SEC
things
footprint.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of opportunities. But come say hey, and we would love to hear from you. Uh, Give us a shout. It doesn't have to be roll balls, but that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, for some it can't be, and that's okay.
Yeah,
That's right.
but I'm going to say it. Roll balls.
I'm going to stop saying it. I let myself slip up a few times. War Eagle, go Longhorns, basketball season. Great job, men. Good job.
Yeah, go
And you know
Longhorns.
what? I want to why not? I'm going to give a little love to the FCS. Let's just say North Dakota State. What are they? The Bison? Go Bison.
There you go. Awesome. Thanks, Jared.
Tailgate, man cave, living room, pregame, burgers, ribs, chicken wings, chip and dip, pregame, scotch and a lot of IPA, Coca-Cola, pregame, slaying darts, EA, cornhole, pregame. How you gonna watch?
I
Well,
mean, Montana State. Who are they? With the Wildcat? I don't even know what they are. What are they? I couldn't
go
tell.
team.
Oh, the Bobcats. The Bison. No, I'm for the Bison. Yeah. Although they're 15-0, Montana State has not lost a game this entire season.
I know that's
So
impressive.